Welcome back, everybody, to the show. I'm very happy I have my attorney colleague and my VIP guest, Attorney Russell D. Knight, back with us. He is an experienced family law attorney. He has hundreds and hundreds of cases that he's processed in Chicago and also as well in Florida. He has 20 years of experience in all kinds of family law matters. I'm so happy that you're back on the show with us, Attorney Russell. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. I always enjoy speaking with you because my favorite thing to talk about is family law, and that's what we talk about.
Perfect. That's a great headline right there. Today we want to talk a little bit more for very interesting topics, right? It's AI in the law, but also what I wanted to talk first with you is virtual courtrooms and how technology has an impact in the law. Did you see any recent developments? How was it, 10 years, 15 years ago?
Mhm.
Was there any change, and how did the technology change our practice?
It's had a massive change. COVID-19 meant that everything was shut down for about 3 months, and then suddenly it all got organized. Everyone got on Zoom, and they all figured it out. And then there was a big rumor that, oh, people filed for divorce more because it was easier. I did the numbers. I counted because when you get a divorce number, it'll be 2025 D for divorce, and then 123 if you're the 123rd person to file for divorce that year. So you can count from 2020 through 2025 how many divorces have been filed. It's the exact same number as 2019, 2018, 2017, but the courts are now clogged with litigants. Why is that when everything should be more efficient, cleaner because we're on Zoom? It's because it's easier to fight. It's something called Javon's paradox that when you have more of something, you actually end up using it more. So because we have more cheaper ways to get into court because we're on Zoom, people want to use it more. It's a lot easier to close your laptop and say, to heck with you than it is to drive downtown, to get dressed up, to appear in front of a judge who tells you to go in the hallway and try to work it out, then come back and have the judge look down at you from a big seat. That made people settle. Now people don't settle because they're all on Zoom. And frankly, they have every right to. People should be able to exercise their rights and do what they need to do. It's called due process. And I think Zoom is a massive, massive improvement over what used to be kind of a archaic and frankly intimidating system of appearing in person.
Yes, yes, you're absolutely right. So, what would you think about court appearances for clients? What do you think about, court hearings that are exclusively online? In opposite to what you have to show up, right? You have to show up. You can also do a lot about, your appearance, your client's appearance. There's a lot, psychology. Also, when you appear in court in person, how would you say, like, is it beneficial these days that you can actually request a court hearing? And how would you say is the impact in family law matters?
Well, that provides a good distinction because a great deal of cases are status dates to figure out what's going on, and those should absolutely be via Zoom. You're just reporting information. The judge is not necessarily making decisions at the moment.
Mhm.
But when the judge has to take testimony from somebody, has to look them in the eye, has to weigh the credibility, and has to do the things that are change lives effectively, you really should be in person. You really should be completely present for the judge and give the judge enough respect because they're going to make a decision about your life. So that's typically in all the jurisdictions I'm licensed in, it's gone from all Zoom to sometimes no Zoom in some counties to now being like, we're going to Zoom these things and we're not going to Zoom these things. And I
Yes.
think we're kind of hitting the right balance because I love to do a trial and I'm really big, tall guy, and I love to run around the courtroom while I'm asking questions, and I can't do that if I'm on Zoom. I
Yes.
want to be in person.
Yes. Yes. And also, you cannot really, there's a lot psychologically, right? When you go into the courtroom and you have your client and you tell your client what to do, what to wear, for example, as well, right? Before you go to
Yeah.
court, there's a lot you can do to make an impression on the court or on the opposite party that you cannot do when you're on Zoom, right? Because it's completely shut off. All these emotions are shutting off, right? And what would you also tell a client if the opposite party requests a Zoom hearing? So does the court have to grant your court hearing in person that you can attend if the opposite party, for example, is living in another state and cannot attend it? So how's the rule there?
Well, in Illinois, for a fact, the courts have enormous they have jurisdiction over their own courtroom. They have enormous powers to determine how they're going to hear everything. So the courts try to do the fair thing. They usually prefer people to be in person for hearings. But if someone's out of the country, out of the state, and it would be a hardship for them to travel, they usually will accommodate it. I usually don't have a problem with that because you can sometimes do a hybrid, which is where you're in person and the other person's on a TV screen on the side of the court. And I'll
Yes.
tell you what, the judge is going to like the person who's in person a lot more than the person who's on the TV screen.
Yeah.
So if you have that opportunity, you should take it every single time. And they have a new little technology now. It looks like an owl and it sits on the judge's desk and it literally has a owl face. The camera will point at the person who's speaking in 360 degrees. So they really figured out the technology. Um, it is enormously helpful. It provides access to the legal system that we just didn't have before, which is the biggest problem with the legal system is the access. How can you get justice when you don't have the resources?
Yes. So in Europe, it's similar, but in Europe, I feel like Europe is definitely behind when it comes to technology and the court system about 10, 15 years. Because what we can do now is it hasn't been practiced for a lot of years that we can say, well, the client is not in the country. It doesn't make sense to come there. The client has to participate via Zoom. So you can request that. And the court could deny it and they could say, well, I don't care. You have to show up in person. Or a lot of courts are doing that, and they allow you to participate via Zoom, but it's not the rule. It's more the exception. The
Yeah.
rule, or you have to show up. If you're not there, if the attorney's not there, they will say, well, you can send another attorney of your firm, or you have to, make it work, right? Or you send someone. That's what we usually do. Like attorneys have to go to the court hearing that they are, they can be present, right? So the clients usually appreciates to show up in person because they want to tell their side of the story sometimes, right? Sometimes better if they are just there, right, and get fully represented, or they have a statement they want to read. That's also very beneficial. So the judge can see your client, right? And it's not just, there's a human being in front of him. So you can do a lot more in the court, and everything just happens also in the courtroom, right? So it's, yeah, as you said, you love to be in court because that's what it's about, right? It's like the coin, the one coin of the side, right? Not just to be involved in the cases. Yeah, perfect. So another question would be for you, if you're, I know that you're very passionate about it, is AI in the law. So,
Oh
a
yeah.
big topic, and you are one of the pioneers that is, talking about it, that is, doing a lot of research about it, and you're using it as well. So how does AI, artificial intelligence, play a role in the attorney's life in our practice?
Well, I think it was last Thursday, ChatGPT 5 came out, and I acted like it was a movie premiere, and I wanted to test it out to see what it would do. We had been told that it would be much more user friendly. And so I put a question in, and I usually try to see if it will give me the answer back because I know what the answer is. And I put the question in, which was specifically, what isn't there a rule in Illinois? What's the rule in Illinois that requires you to use your trust account's interest to pay for legal aid? And it's a tricky question because it's actually a Supreme Court rule and it's a comment on a rule. And instead of reading that, it gave me back a rule that doesn't exist and replaced another rule. It was a massive failure.
Okay.
Whereas before, it would make up cases, but it
Yes.
wouldn't rewrite a case. So I think we're hitting a bottleneck in what AI can do for lawyers. And I think it might not be able to do what's like real abstract thinking. I think it can do what a legal assistant can do, everything. It can assemble documents, it can calculate things through documents, it can summarize, it can organize. And then the question is, can it do what a paralegal does, where it can accurately convey some sort of concept into a motion or into pleading or an answer? But can it do what lawyers do, where it's just really like strategy and persuasion? Um, I was guessing that it would, yes, it would be able to do that within 2 to 5 years. Now I'm very, very hesitant to think that it will be able to do that because I think that there might not be anything there. It might just be connecting the probability of the next word, which is what it has been doing. And that's simply not enough to get an accurate of level justice. So that's my feeling as for how AI and works in the law as of August 15th, 2025. I might sing a different tune in 2 months because I certainly was singing a different tune 2 months before.
Yes, but that's also my approach, right? Because a lot of people say, well, AI is like revolutionizing, is bringing like a huge revolution in all the professions. That might be partially true, I think, because especially in the law, you have to not only about, cases. It's like every case is so individual. Every case is a complex, scenario. So you should be very hesitant using AI in the law. It's my approach. And it's not that I'm anti, right? That I'm using it still, but I tell my attorneys and my paralegals, I tell them, don't take it as like this is, the miraculous formula. Don't take it as anything more than it's like you would take a book, you would take to do other research, you would study case law. Just take it as it's an additional tool, right? You can, summarize things that are very complicated, put it in simple words for the client, right? Because we have a legal language that is very difficult sometimes. But I would never tell them to please take it as it is and don't double check it, because it would be very stupid to do so, right?
Yeah.
You have to make sure that it's only a tool. You can maybe take advantage of it, but you still have to use your brain and your knowledge and all the other things that you studied a long time for, right? To use it and to put it into that casework that you have to do. So it's just a nice add-on for me personally, but it's not a magic formula or a magic path.
Yeah. Well, maybe one day, but not today.
Maybe one day, yes, exactly. So thank you so much. That was a great insight, right? If people want to get a hold of you and say, well, I need an attorney who is licensed in Illinois and as well in Florida, and I have, major international family law matters, or I have, high divorces, high asset divorces, that I need someone to take care of it, right? Of the whole perspective. Like there's a lot of things involved: divorce, custody, visitation rights. There might be other things that come along with it. How can people get a hold of you?
They can go to either of my websites, rdklegal.com. It's R, Russell, D, dog, K, night, legal, legal.com for Illinois, and then divorce attorney naplesfl.com for my Florida office, or just give me a call at 773-334-6311, and I will get back to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Russell. That was an amazing talk today, and I hope to see you soon. And yes, have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.